everybody. Welcome to This and That with Maggie and Ryan. I'm your host, Ryan, and this is Maggie.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. And
Hi, happy Friday.
Who do we have with us this week?
We have the amazing, the hilarious, the sometimes not PC old man Murphy here today. So let's bring him in. Hey
Hi.
there.
Hi, my name's Murphy, and I'm an alcoholic.
Oh, God, we're starting there.
You know, we were talking in the green room behind here. He is drinking peanut butter whiskey.
Screwball peanut butter. It has zero kickback to it. It's dangerous stuff.
I was about to say, if it's got zero kick, that's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's
water.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh my God, it's like fruit juice, and then you don't know where did I park the car?
Yeah,
it's on
the floor going, huh?
Sounds like a hangover to me. That's all I know.
Yes.
So how you doing, Mark?
We're all at that age now where we must consider the hangover the next day.
Yeah.
I think we're all at the same age though. Where
look at Murphy's like,
we're all at the same age though, where we push it though.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and you still go hard, and then you regret it. And
the only time I've ever regretted it is a couple years ago. I was at a friend's wedding, and after the wedding, we all go back to we're all hanging out, and we're just doing all these different liquors, and we end the night with tequila shots, which is my mortal enemy. Tequila and I hate each other. And then I remember sitting on the couch, and then I woke up in bed, and I'm like, what bed am I in? And I spent the next 15 minutes trying to figure out where the heck I was. Apparently I just passed out, and then they just led me off to bed, and I had no recollection of any of it. And I was terrified.
Sounds about tequila.
But the worst I get now, and I thank my dad for this, because before he went sober, he never got a hangover. And so I think he might have passed that on to me. I will get minor headaches. I will pop a couple of ibuprofen. In about an hour, I'm fine. I don't want to push it so like it's 60. I'm just like, I have a beer, and then the next day I'm like, oh my God, it's fuck right. I hope to God that doesn't happen.
My husband and I recently went to a concert in San Francisco, and it was our date night, and we were having a good time. We went to a John Mayer concert, which was our first mistake, and then
oh God.
He's not bad. He's not. I actually do like John Mayer. It just was. But do you know how much a double vodka soda was there? Take a guess. What?
$20.
No.
$5.
No. It was $54 for a double vodka soda. And
that double vodka better give you a happy ending.
I'm telling you, right then and there, we paid $108 for 2 vodka sodas. It was like worse than Vegas. And I was like, I drank it. I was like,
put something in my bra or something.
I was like, I'm not even like feeling it after this. I was like, that was the worst thing. I could have bought a bottle of vodka for that.
Yeah.
Isn't that insane? It was like the worst drink of my life, but
that's
$108. It's one of those shit watered down drinks.
As a former bartender, I'm fucking insulted for you.
I am too.
Oh my God.
Apparently, this is how everyone's raking in the money after COVID, and people doing concerts, and it's expensive.
They're trying to make up the money. It's like they're trying to make up the difference.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
That's why everyone's talking about inflation, but most of all, it's mostly corporate greed. They don't need to be charging that for double vodka.
I mean, I definitely see that with gas, but I will say that, I don't know if you guys have noticed a big difference, but in prices of, hey, Jeffrey, our grocery bill has gone up substantially over the last, it seems like 3, maybe 4 months. Seems like definitely the last 2 months we've noticed a big difference in our normal budget, for groceries. It's like, whoa. So I mean, I'm sure that there are businesses that are feeling this. I'm not discrediting that, but I think, like Maggie said, to your point, there's got to be somewhere in this hierarchy or this chain where somebody's making way too damn much money, and we're the ones feeling it.
Yep.
You'll never convince
Jeffrey,
me
that
otherwise.
alcoholic beverage was in San Francisco. I mean, it makes sense. Everything's expensive in California, but
My best friends used to live there. Well, they lived in San Jose, but they took the train up to San Francisco every day. Yep.
Y'all need to come to Wisconsin. We pay less for liquor than you can get shit faced on $5.
That does not happen
because
here.
you live in Wisconsin.
But I live in California, and I ain't leaving. Have you ever seen the guy on TikTok? His name is TK California.
No.
You probably don't follow him because he's all about, but he's always like, if it's not in California, goodbye. Like, goodbye. It's just amazing.
There's this bar not too far from me. I want to say maybe 15 minutes. But I swear to God, I'm used to usually paying my $3, maybe $4 for a pint. $2 a pint. Anything on that was on tap, $2. And I'm like, wow. I'm coming here more often because this should be in the dollar stretching column of the newspaper. Yeah, I had 3 pints, and then I had to drive back and pick up my son from hockey practice. And
oh no,
what?
Well, I'm sorry, your video broke up there for a second. Did you say you did 3 pints and then went to pick up your? Please tell me you didn't just say that, Murph.
No, I didn't.
Okay,
good. All right. Moving on.
Let's skip right over that.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Shit,
don't
Murph.
drink and drive. All right. So this has been a crazy week of Supreme Court justice shenanigans. I want to get into that first. I think we have all witnessed one of the most qualified, amazing human beings that we could ever hope for to be on the SCOTUS, being asked the most asinine questions. And I mean, I can't even.
I just realized I forgot to send you that graphic. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right. Don't worry about it. I forgot to upload the other thing. So there you go. We're the best pair, right?
We're a good team.
Are you talking? I think I saw that. Is it they got like the boxes all where Jackson all is, and then like how they're all scattered between everybody else? Yeah, that it's amazing.
It's amazing. How all the least qualified people just happen to be Republicans.
Yeah. But that seems par for the course nowadays. The least qualified you are. Oh, well, welcome to the Republican Party.
Lauren Boebert. There you go. Exactly.
Or worse. Welcome to leadership.
But how embarrassing was it to watch the Republicans this week? I mean, it was, to me, it felt tragic to watch them just try to ensnare her into saying something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, but the questions they were asking were so unrelated to her field, but they just wanted to get her talking about certain talking points and really just like Ryan said earlier to me, a gotcha moment, right? Didn't you feel like that?
What Congressman Sass said at the end there is like it's because they were all playing to the camera. That's exactly what it was. They all wanted their sound bites so they could be famous on their Lord and Savior Trump's Fox News.
Yep.
Word.
That's
Did you
pretty
see
much
the
all
one
it was.
Ted Cruz, they got a picture somebody took from the upper gallery of Ted Cruz on his phone, checking his Twitter, and he's literally under his mentions, going to see what people said about him right after he did his little shtick.
And I just have to chime in. I did a TikTok on this week, but if you go to www.smallestdick.com, it actually it will take you to Ted Cruz's Twitter. So for the internet gods, thank you for doing that.
The sound I made when I watched that was something out of a Lovecraft story. It was I woke up the neighbor's dog. It was,
shit.
That's totally fitting. But, for somebody especially like Ted Cruz, I think, he started off this week in an airport acting like a freaking Karen. And now.
Oh, yeah. God, I totally forgot about that.
Time flies when you're a Republican and you got too much shit to do. I mean, So he started out the week being a Karen, and he ended up being a jackass.
Well,
So
it ended being a Karen, didn't he? He was being he was. Are you gonna let her answer the question? Why won't you let her answer? Because it's a stupid ass question. That's why.
Yeah. And then Ben said he said it's jackassery.
yes.
That was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Yep.
Well, that's the thing. They all were looking for their moment in the spotlight, like you said.
Yeah.
And the questions they were asking her were just so disrespectful. And but I'm going to shine light on something that I did love about this week. Seeing her beautiful family there, supporting her parents that come from the Jim Crow era, watching their daughter ascend to, the highest courts of all courts, and her beautiful daughter who actually wrote back in the day, President, I think Obama said, you should put my mom on the Supreme Court. And, Cory Booker brought that out into light and was, shining the light on all the positives that she has done. And not to say there were so many Democrats that were praising her for, the life she has led and the woman that she continues to be. And I also loved watching how much her husband adored her and was so supportive of her this week. So, Ketanji Brown Jackson is more than qualified and has a beautiful family, a supportive family, and these Republicans are just acting fools all week long.
Now normally I'm pretty up to speed when it comes to like governmental processes and everything like that. But even though Mitch the bitch said, there is in no way I can support this candidate.
That was too close.
I'm not even wearing my Mitch glasses. Scoobity boop boop boop. Have you guys there's the guy that does a spot on impression of Mitch McConnell, and he's like, well, the thing is,
I've seen him.
Scooby boop 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 boop. And he always ends everything that Mitch with like a little scatting, and I'm just like, but okay, even though Mitch McConnell said there's no way that I can support her, and at the beginning, there's an audio clip of him saying at the beginning of the month, it's like she's more than qualified.
Yes.
And now at the end of the month, there's no way that I can support her. It's like, well, all right.
You know what?
So what is the actual process? I mean, I'm probably not the only one that doesn't know how it all goes down. Where is it like a 50-50 vote? The Republicans have already taken the filibuster out of play. And they did that with their own. They did that with their own candidates a while back, so that's off the table. So is it just a 50-50 vote, and then if it's split down the middle, then Kamala comes by and says, "We're going with her"?
I think it's the Senate Judiciary Committee, isn't it? It's not just the Senate. And there are certain senators. Isn't that correct, Ryan? I'm not.
I think we're about to have to Google this.
Google it.
Because Google's a free fucking service.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, because I don't want to sit here and tell people the wrong information.
Oh, absolutely.
No, I totally get that.
I know. There is a Senate Judiciary Committee that oversees kind of the election of the SCOTUS members.
I always thought that the committee.
And that's why when you're in the Senate, you can be part of different committees. That's my understanding. Why don't you Google it, Ryan? Make sure I'm correct in my assessment.
I always thought that the committee just vetted all the candidates that came through, and it was kind of like a formal, say, well, we're looking. It's kind of like the people you gotta. It's the first round of interviews.
Sure. Okay.
And rather than actually, talking about your qualifications and your achievements and your merits, we're going to ask you if you think the
Senate votes to confirm, and it's a simple majority vote.
Okay, there you go. All right.
Well, then, by all means, she should be getting pushed through, but we never know when it comes to our Senate.
Manchin was a concern. Manchin came out and said that he's going to vote. He's going to vote for her. I don't count on Kyrsten Sinema until she actually freaking votes. So let's just hope that she decides to be a Democrat that day. So yeah,
are there any Senate Republicans that are actual like I could? I mean, has Mitt Romney come out and said? Because I feel there's a very few Senate Republicans that are actually Republicans and not these QAnon fools.
Well, right now, I think the hardest thing is that everyone's playing politics for politics' sake because the midterms are coming up. So that irregardless of them being, what they may feel about her in general, they're going to do whatever they have to do to pander to their base. And that's what, and this is what goes to show about Mitch McConnell. You hit it on the nose with the soundbite of him. We talked about on the show, Mitch McConnell came out and said, I support her. She is more than qualified. And then, it just goes to show that this was his end game all along. This was always going to be their end game because the series of questions that they asked her, the ridiculous questions that they asked this beautiful woman, they did it just so they could try to gotcha and give a reason why they couldn't confirm her. They had to, show their cards at a different time.
More importantly, I want to point to not just that, but the Republicans that weren't sitting on the committee. Representative Braun came out and said that he believed that the Supreme Court never should have voted on interracial marriage, the legality of interracial marriage in the United States. Now, that is particularly disgusting to come out and publicly say anything related to that, no matter if it was misconstrued or not. When you know that there is a black woman being confirmed to the Supreme Court who is married to a white man with two mixed daughters, that takes a special kind of prick.
Yeah.
Well, not only are you, insulting and demeaning a candidate for the Supreme Court, but we already have an interracial couple on the Supreme Court.
Yeah, but they're conservatives.
Oh, yeah, that it doesn't apply to them.
Doesn't apply. And again, let's go back.
Conservatives and the whites are a part of insurrection. So,
I was about to say it's actually a great transition into Jeannie Thomas and Mark Meadows' text messages.
Oh my God!
But again, you look at Clarence Thomas; he was the only judge to vote. It was an 8-1 vote to what was it? He was in dissent of releasing White House documents related to January 6th. He was the only one that came out and said no publicly, and then his wife just happens to be one of the people that was
and now we know why he said no.
Yep.
Now we know why.
Currently sitting on the Supreme Court of the United States, and his wife tried to overthrow the government. And if you think that he didn't know about it and have something to do with it or try to cover it up, I got a bridge to sell you.
You're a special kind of stupid.
Yep.
Special kind of stupid. Yeah, I believe it was it earlier today? Yeah, it was earlier. It was the first one I posted this morning. The whole Ginny Thomas. I fucked up. And I did one of those, where you can, superimpose your mouth and your eyes over, but I just did the mouth. So it was like, and I was just lip syncing to the, I fucked up. And somebody mentioned in the comments, you can see the little bit of lip hair that you got going on, and it works perfectly with what you got going on there. But she done a goof.
Oh, it's bad.
Definitely.
But here's the question: is everyone going to be looking?
It takes what 75% majority? Is that what it is? Something like that. It's not a simple majority to impeach him and remove him.
Well, the thing is, I think he's left because of health issues, so he's been kind of absent for a little bit.
I just saw the article. He was released from the hospital
today. Yeah.
Well, but you know what? This would be an apropos time to just step down.
Oh well, yeah.
Because of this, and just say it's for health reasons. Because obviously, but
that's what a Democrat would do. He's not going to do that.
Well, I'm right. I know. It is the conflict of interest there is astounding. And
Mhm.
if I already found out earlier today that the New York AG has pretty much dropped everything against Trump, or not dropped, but they put it aside. Oh yeah,
What are you talking about?
yeah, they're not.
Are you talking Manhattan? Are you talking about Manhattan or the
Manhattan.
Manhattan? Okay, yeah, I did a little bit about that where they were talking about somebody in the comments of one of my videos said, yeah, did you hear that Manhattan? Probably, two of the prosecutors resigned because the new district attorney said, yeah, I don't really think this is going to go anywhere. So they're like, fuck this shit. They're out. But the Attorney General of New York is still going on with their civil case. That I know of. That's still ongoing. But yeah, the Manhattan one is pretty much dead in
but it's
water.
looking less and
But
less
that's the
like
criminal
anyone is
case.
going. But that's the thing. It's looking like less and less that anyone is going to be held accountable for anything.
Yeah.
And I mean, and this is the reality that we
And
live
this
in.
is why the
Unfortunately.
next time is going to be fucking twice as bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, they've laid it all out there. It's like, as a kid, you push your limits. You do what you do as much
Exactly.
as you can to get away. Oh, okay, let's push a little more. The fact that we had
all
a
that got
freaking
me was a slap on the
insurrection.
wrist. Yeah,
Yep.
let's do it again.
No big
Yep.
deal. Even the people that were part of the insurrection, very little jail time, trying to overthrow a government, hang a vice president, very little jail time. There's been no accountability. And I guarantee you for Clarence Thomas, there will probably be no accountability as
There
well.
won't be.
Because even people trying to connect the dots, ooh, what was me? Like,
I honestly believe that the only way that we as a nation are going to learn our lesson is when we have our asses severely handed to us. If it's unfortunate that it would have to come to that, but until we have some humility beaten into us, no, it's
I
going
thought
to
that's
continue.
what COVID was going to do. You know what I mean? I thought that COVID had the chance to bring us together, but all it did is further divide us, and it also just reinforced that the most important thing in America is capitalism. Bottom line, money trumps all.
If we had somebody more intelligent, more responsible at the helm, then yes, maybe. But we had one of the biggest idiots in charge. We gave the reins to Gomer fucking Pyle. And
Yeah.
I said, there's no virus you can do. And, it's a Democrat hoax, but yet nearly 1 million people are dead. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're all dying just to own Trump.
Well, and the thing is, we can't go back from this, right? I mean, what's done is done. So what has transpired in this time and the disinformation and everything that's going on throughout our country, it's not going away, right, Ryan? I mean, we're not.
I mean, honestly, I hadn't been paying attention, so I didn't know that they were dropping the charges. So I'm just kind of trying to process that for a second.
And I don't think they dropped the charges. I think they just put everything to like the side, like
same fucking thing.
Yeah,
you stop fucking investing. That's just a public a PR way of saying, yeah, we're not doing anything. That's all that is. It's a fucking joke. First off, I'm about to go off, so just so you know. The fact that we have waited, what are we at now? 14, 15 months for us to see any kind of accountability for January 6th. So that's number one. Number two, you're talking about Donald Trump, who we watched. I mean, fuck, I'm just going to start with the nepotism of this man putting like his whole fucking family in the White House in federal positions and getting paid. Like, and you guys want to talk about Hunter Biden's laptop? Like, but you guys, nobody gave a shit that they were getting patents handed to them and shit handed to them from China while they're sitting in the White House. Nobody gave a shit about that. But now all of a sudden, you guys want to hang on to the talking point of 10% for the big guy or whatever your freaking talking point for the day is. And now they're gonna pause pursuing anything. Everybody on the planet that has a fucking brain knows that Donald Trump should be in jail. And everybody on the planet that has a brain that isn't admitting that, you're all fucking crooked, and you're probably doing shit just as bad, if not worse, than Donald Trump. And just for anybody that's wondering, Donald Trump is a fucking pedophile. He's been accused of raping a 13-year-old girl. We've got him on tape saying that he sexually assaults women and they let him do it because he's famous. He fucking tried to overtake our government, and you people still support him.
He flushed documents down a toilet.
Tell us how you really feel, Ryan.
No, he's
no,
Ryan is spot on, and he.
Oh yeah.
What gets me is the evidence is all there with everyone. I'm talking with. I mean, we can talk about Ginny Thomas. We can talk about Donald Trump. We are not without a lack of evidence here. We're sitting
got
here.
It all.
That's the
and
kicker.
it doesn't
the conversations, the phone calls, the texts,
the stupid shit that Republicans say, like, "Oh, let me say my stupid talking point with zero evidence to back it up." No, we're coming out with Katie Porter's fucking whiteboard.
Yeah,
like connecting dots for you people, and you still don't get it.
Because that's not what matters to them. What matters to them is that they're right and that they
you said it.
Whomever they believe in.
A few minutes ago, capitalism. Because at the end of the day, all that matters is their pocketbooks and themselves. They don't give a shit about their next door neighbor. They don't give a shit about anybody outside of their little circle. And they will step on whoever it takes to get what they want. And they think that that's being an alpha male. They think that not giving a fuck about anybody around them, that's being an alpha male.
Well, that's being a politician.
Being a piece of shit. That's what that's
being a politician these days is. If that's what it feels like.
Not all politicians are that way. The problem is that the politicians that aren't that way don't get any attention because they don't throw the red meat out every day.
Yeah.
That's the problem. The ones that are actually doing their fucking job, nobody wants to pay attention because everybody's talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and all those dumb fucks.
Because it's not interesting. It doesn't give you a headline. You don't have your sound clip. You don't have your headline. You don't have the, oh my God, look what this stupid bitch said today. You don't have that shit with people in the government.
Their job today. Wow, cool.
Yeah, I mean, how many your ratings aren't going to go anywhere with that? That's what it's all about. It's all about who's making the most, who's got the most toys. Doesn't matter if you're doing your job, because all the politicians do now is they work their asses off to get elected. They sit on their thumbs, and then they work their asses off to get reelected so they can continue sitting on their thumbs.
But isn't, I would have to say, I mean, we're all kind of guilty of not building up the good people as much as the bad people, as people on TikTok, right? We do more of, calling out the negative. Exactly, because negativity sells. Negativity.
When we do a positive video, how many views do you get, Maggie?
Exactly.
Very, very few.
But
I thought
calling Donald Trump a piece of garbage or whatever.
I mean, I thought my Pringles can video was pretty positive.
It was good. That was a good one. Good girth on that Pringles can. Good girth on that Pringles can you got, Murph.
You were a doctor or something, and you said it was something like Trump's rectum or something. And
I put
videos of yours I ever saw, and I was like, I fucking love this guy.
Well, see, Murph and I do comedy, so comedy can be talking about a negative, but it feels like a positive.
Yeah,
if you spin it into something that, if you spin it in a way that it's okay. Well, you learned. It's negative that you're pointing it out, but it's positive that you learn something from it. I mean, that's.
But also, the last thing you want to do too is also, kind of like fangirl out on a politician, right? Because that's that feels like culty when you know what I mean. So.
I would totally fangirl out on Obama, though, just so you know.
I mean,
I would do a lot of things on Obama. I mean, fangirling is probably the last thing.
Yeah,
but
I think my wife's probably right up there with you.
Oh, he's the best. But I mean, AOC. I mean, you can and Bernie Sanders. Like the thing.
No, don't ruin him. Bernie Sanders. Go back. Go back.
He's gonna keep the mittens on in bed.
Hey, listen, have you seen young Bernie Sanders? I take that home. I did a TikTok on that. I said, how many drinks would it take to take me home? And first for like regular Bernie Sanders was like I don't know, like 5 drinks, but like young Bernie Sanders, it was like 0 drinks in a time machine, baby. Take me back. I'll take it.
Same thing with young Joe Biden. He was a looker back when he was a lot younger. Absolutely.
Back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was. Yep. Yeah, we're about to get called all sorts of names for that. My wife, what was she watching today? White Collar. She's the dude from White Collar. You guys watch that show? It's kind of not too old, but it went off a couple years ago. Blue eyes. I mean, dude's just a good looking dude. And I'm walking in and she's like, I don't know what it is about this guy. And I'm like, I don't know, but keep watching that. I'll be back later.
I was watching Aquaman last night. My husband really liked me watching Aquaman last night.
Yeah, sure. I actually had a similar experience after Aquaman.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when I watched Aquaman in the theater and he first turns around, he like boom goes down into like the submarine. He turns around. I went, holy shit! Like out loud in the theater.
Yeah, I think Jen, there was a part, I don't remember which part of it, there was a part of Aquaman where I'm sitting next to my wife and I literally heard one of those like waiting to exhale moments. You know what I'm saying? Like she was like, ooh, I'm like, what the fuck?
You know what? The Momoa, he's got all the goods, okay?
Telling you. Oh, when it came out that him and his wife,
they're back together. They're giving it another try,
which is awesome. But when it first came out that they were getting together, all the people that came out said, "I don't know who needs to hear this, but you don't have a chance with them."
I actually did. I did a TikTok about that. I did it with the Dumb and Dumber thing. So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah,
and it was like probably like one in a million.
Yeah.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
There's still a chance.
It's kind of weird. I mean, you guys are talking about your Maggie. You're all up in the Jason Momoa, and Jen's all up in, and then my wife, she looks at Voldemort and she goes, "Ooh," and I'm like, I got a chance.
We can do that.
Yeah.
You know what?
You're lucky.
Listen. Women like men for a lot of different reasons, and it like looks can be absolutely one of them. Okay,
it's the lack of a nose.
Well, no, it's the mystery. It's the devilish behavior. I think I know what you need to cosplay as now, Murph. Holy, maybe for her birthday, just go get a whole Voldemort look going on. Surprise, baby.
Yeah. For my wife, though, Jason Momoa is number 2 actually on her list. Number 1 still The Rock. So.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There's no.
I don't know. I'll have to. Probably somebody from Downton Abbey. For my wife.
Little pipe and a coat.
I can't really. I've never really seen her just go, oh,
really?
But then again, I mean, we don't. The most movies that we'll watch comedies, and now that we have kids, we've watched Encanto like about 50 times.
Oh, I hear that.
And so it's not like, Bruno. Oh, yes, baby. Bruno's
we don't talk about Bruno.
That's crazy.
It blew me away. I'm watching it for the first time, and I'm like, I recognize that voice, and I find out it's John Leguizamo, and I'm like, okay, we gotta watch that again, because it didn't click until I saw the name, and then I listened to it, like when she finally stumbles in, and they actually have the conversation, where in his back room and everything like that, and I'm like, oh my god, that is him! Holy crap! Because
John Leguizamo, I think John Leguizamo is very attractive. Like
not now though.
Oh, there's something about John. Oh, I like weird people. I have a thing.
He did his best.
I think my number 1 is Jeff Goldblum. Like
John Leguizamo was the hottest in Spawn. He was just so fucking great. Oh, and he was so hot as that fat clown.
I was about to say, what that word?
Yes, that was it.
I'm here for it. I can't deny. Anyone that if a man can speak Spanish, I find that incredibly.
Well, now talking about looks and talking about accents in different languages, those are
but it's all part of the package. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
give me
if you walked up to Jeff Goldblum on the street, you wouldn't be like
British woman. If my wife ever leaves me, I'm going to the UK and finding me a black British woman.
Well,
just talk to me. Talk to me.
Hopefully,
you like my weird American accent.
For me, if I ever, God forbid, my wife and I ever split, I'm going over to Ireland.
God forbid. Yeah.
God forbid if that ever happened. I'm going over to Ireland and they can speak.
Ireland's a good one too. Yeah. Yep. Tracy.
I don't know what
it's that brogue. It's that Irish brogue or Scottish even. Irish when I first watched Brave, and I was listening, and it's like, yeah, she's a little girl, but listen. And then I saw who voiced her, and everything I've seen her in. I can't remember the McTaggart or I think something like that. Every time I've seen her, and she's spoken in her natural voice.
Accents are incredibly attractive.
Do you guys watch Supergirl at all?
No.
Oh shit! You won't know that. Never mind. We're like, yep. Everybody move on.
All right, we should move on because we can get sidetracked on talking about hot people and accents all day, which I don't mind. I mean, this is this and that. I mean, it is this and that, and Jeff Goldblum. Oh,
that's why we call it this and that.
And Jason Momoa.
Yeah, Jason.
You should get him on the show.
Jeff Goldblum's just like he's one of those people that he's an attractive dude, and then he opens his mouth, and it's like, dude, you're just like you said, you're into strange people, and for some people, he just gives off this "I have a van waiting for me outside" vibe that I just,
Well,
don't
even
ruin
some of
it
his.
for me, Ryan. Don't ruin it for me.
I mean, my first introduction to Jeff Goldblum was the Big Chill. And he was such a geeky guy. He was always talking about, hey, maybe I can get with you. Maybe I can get with this girl. Maybe I can get with. And he was it was like, dude, you're the creepy one of the. You're the Ross.
Do you remember?
You're the Ross of this Friends, aren't you?
Do you remember The Fly?
Yeah.
Okay. The Brundle. Yes, you remember. So he starts out and he's super cute, and then all of a sudden he's I mean that was, but he's still hot.
And then everyone's reintroduced to him as Dr. Ian Malcolm. That is one huge pile of shit. And with his shirt open, lying there with the busted leg, all the girls were just oh. And I'm thinking, motherfucker brought the mullet back. He brought the fucking mullet back, and he rocked it. And I hate him.
I love him, and I didn't know that the name Jeff could be so sexy, but here we are. So
what's Jeff your name? Ricardo. What's your name? Xavier. What's your name? My name's Jeff.
Jeff. Yeah. My name is Jeff. I love it.
Okay, so I don't really know how to pivot to this next topic, so let's just.
There is no pivoting after Gabe.
Hard dive.
But I do want to talk about this particularly because these next two topics, just to get us serious for a few more seconds. We had 3 laws passed here in Arizona. I think it was yesterday, the day before, that are now headed to our governor's desk, and this douche nozzle will absolutely sign them. So there's no hope of him listening to his constituents. So they passed 2 transgender bills here in Arizona. One that forbid any kind of medical treatment, transition treatment for trans youth. And the other one was preventing my name is
Hello, Jeff.
And the other one is preventing trans youth from playing in girls' sports. So I just want to talk about those 2 first.
Where the big story that I don't know if it was Arizona or if it was Oklahoma, but it came to the governor's desk, and the governor said, no,
It was.
We're
I
talking.
think it was Oklahoma. It
Yeah.
wasn't here.
And he said this is about 4 kids, just
Yeah.
4, and only one of them plays in sports, and you have all of this anger and fear and hatred over 4 kids that are just trying to make their way in the world. They're trying to figure themselves out, and they have finally come to this awakening that this is who they really are. And all you want to do is you want to show them how much hate you have in them. And the governor said, being a Christian person myself, it is my duty to show love and to show support. So I am not signing this bill. And then what happens? 52 to 18, it was vetoed. So it was signed into law. Anyway, even though the governor said, fuck this shit, and the legislature said, no, we don't give a shit. We're doing it anyway.
I guess besides the fact that they're attacking kids, which just, all the things that you have to focus on and worry about legislating, you're going after kids because you don't agree with it, because it goes against your religion, whatever your freaking reason is, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I'm just so pissed off about this for a lot of reasons. And for me, I was looking at the swimmer. I think her name was Leah. And it was in Florida, and Ron DeSantis, went to go, basically veto that win and give her trophy to the second place winner, so on and so forth. And I'm just like, so I wanted to go look and see, was Leah like just crushing the freaking competition, and it wasn't even like close, like she was just blowing them out of the water by 10, 20, 30 seconds, like I wanted to go see what was going on. It wasn't anything like that. Like a matter of fact, I learned that through the NCAA, they have to be on treatment for at least 12 months, gene therapy treatment. So it's like, okay, so when you start looking at that, okay, you're getting gene therapy. That means your muscle mass is going to start decreasing. That means your body, while yes, you were born a male, when you start changing the chemicals in your body starts to change. Your muscle mass starts to change. The hair starts to go away on their face. Okay. There's a reason for this. So the NCAA in sports determined that there is a period of time that after they have successfully gone through gene therapy, that they can compete in women's sports and still be fair. So I was like, okay, now let's go look at the information. And I posted on my Twitter. I said, here are the times that she was doing when she was competing as a male. And here are the times that she's, doing as a female. She was not blowing people out of the water. She came in 3rd. She came in 5th. She came in last a couple times. Like, she wasn't winning every meet. Like the story that was spun around this and her is just like you said, this one person wins one meet. And it's like, oh my God, transgender athletes are taking over women's sports. And you're going to go and legislate, spend all this freaking time, money, resources, legislating hate against these people.
Well, it's always the whataboutism. They're like, I'm going to bring it back to Ted freaking the MVP of the week, most valuable prick of the week. I said that earlier to Ryan. He's like, if I decide that I want to be a woman or blah, blah, blah. They love their what ifs, their hypotheticals.
Oh, the Asian. He was like, if I decide I want to be Asian tomorrow.
They love their hypotheticals, right? So the hypothetical is, well, now all the men are just going to go and turn to be women because they want to go and compete in women's sports. No one's going to go do that.
I'm competing in all the female sports I want to right now. It's that simple. It's which guy said it? Oh God, what's his name? The UK version of The Office. Michael Scott's role. What's his name? I know what you're talking about. Oh God, who is that comedian? Ricky Gervais. Yeah, he said someone asked him. It's like, well, if there is no God, then you would just want to rape and murder as many people as you want to. And then he came back with, but I am raping and murdering as many people as I want to right now. Same thing here. There is, yes, you are going to have a few sickos out there that will abuse the system because, yes, people abuse the system. If you make the system, if you stack the system in the 1%'s favor, then the lower 99% are going to abuse it because it's not fair. But in most cases, they just want to I just want to go to school. I want to swim in my meats. I want to go home. I want to sleep. I want to eat. I want to get up, and I want to do it all over again. I don't want to bother anybody. I don't want to rub it in anyone's face that, hey, I used to have a penis. No one wants to do that. But these people that have zero brain in their skull,
but they'll always make it
skull. It's like, well, the Bible says. Who gives a shit about your big book fairy tale?
That's what I'm saying. They're always pushing it back onto something else, about some facade scenario that has yet to be and hasn't even happened yet, and that this scenario in their head has already offended them. That's pretty much it. They get offended by things that have not even yet come to pass, and you're like, come on, man.
And they over-exaggerate the issue.
Yes. Yeah. And like Ryan goes, and he was like, well, let's look at the facts. Let's look at this, because everything's blown out of proportion, because it becomes this hot take and this blown up thing, and everyone runs with it and makes up these scenarios in their head. Oh my gosh, men are now dominating women's sports. It's over. What about the women? What about this? What about that? Instead of actually looking at the actual facts. And I think that is literally what is wrong with the world in not just this issue, but everything else. People just run with a topic and they what about it till it's dead in the ground. And
talk about the facts. Here's a fact for you: 56% of transgender youth attempt suicide because they do not feel that they are welcome in this society. What this governor tried to do was the right thing and lower that number.
Yep.
And their legislature just said, we don't care about that number.
Yeah, the pro-life party.
Yeah. The pro-life party, exactly. So we don't care
about... They only want you born if you're straight, white,
And they don't give a shit about you until you reach military age, so you can become dead soldiers.
Yep.
Well, they're the party that
damaged.
Or damaged. Yeah, and then they still don't give a shit about you after that. Oh, you fought a great war. Oh, you're hurt. You're hurting inside. So what?
Yeah.
It's
get to work.
Yeah. It's
isn't it? The thing is, it's the Republican Party. They keep voting for these people that go against their own best interests because of these ridiculous kinds of topics. These things like equality and inclusion, representation. These are the things that these Republicans have to get their constituents behind them for. And come on. Can we just get past these talking points, these things, and just start talking about what's actually wrong with this world?
Boomers got to die off first. Boomers got to.
They do.
As soon as all of the boomers are just no longer relevant.
And apparently they're going to be living just forever, and it's our generation. We're probably going to be dying before them. Like
if I have to, I will pull the fucking plug on my parents if that helps.
Murphy, stop it.
They were both born in 1948. I found out
Murphy.
I found out that both of them voted for Trump both times.
Oh well, that changes
things. Okay.
And then when my mom told me that, I just went. And when they told I was having a conversation with my mom about you see, you see all the, because central Wisconsin is still very much Trump country. There's a silo outside of Columbus, Wisconsin that still says Trump 2020, and it's tattered and it's falling off the silo and everything. There's no hope of, it ever being, changed to 24, or it's just going to stay up there until it falls off.
Ew.
But when
Murphy, go do something about it. Go pay.
no, I'm not. If I scale I'll blow up the silo before I scale it just to cut down the sign. But what when I was having just a random conversation with my mom, and my mom just nonchalantly brought it up, said, "Yeah, we voted for Trump twice," and my demeanor just went.
You haven't seen my show, have you?
Do you know who I am?
They know I'm.
Hello.
See, the thing I don't understand is that my folks are always talking about, love thy neighbor, and then I'm like, but you're voting for people that don't all the time. What? That's why I drink. I tell them that all the time. I said, why do you drink so much? Because you're my fucking parents. But and they told me, said they voted for Trump, and then when the pandemic hit, they were one of the very few that they like to jet set, and they're retired, so they like to go here and there and everywhere. And they started finding out that, well, we can't go here unless we're vaccinated. Well, we have to wait. We can't do this unless we're wearing a mask. Well, I'm wearing a mask. It's not that big of a deal. So they were in the very small minority that when the pandemic hit, they would follow all the rules and regulations. When 2020 came around, they voted for Trump, and then the results came that Biden won. They dropped it. They said, oh, okay, the guy we voted for didn't win. Life goes on.
Good.
And so I'm like, okay, you're not this whole, you're not in this whole that, it was stolen or anything like that. No, he lost. There's absolutely no way possible that it could have been. So there's too many safeguards in place. It would have to be a really concerted global effort almost for a fraudulent election to happen. And Americans just don't have that much brain power to pull something like that off. Let's just face it. So, yeah, but I forgot how I got off on this tangent.
Well, you know what? Someone brought that up too. And love thy neighbor is, I think that is a really great point. And we are with people that kind of miss that whole point.
I think the point too is, they keep using the Bible to drill their point home or to pound their point home, and it's like they forgot what's in between the binding.
They always, have you ever noticed that whenever Republicans quote the Bible, they always bring up the Old Testament stuff?
Sure.
They never bring up anything that Jesus actually said. And being a Christian, if you're going to tell everyone that you're Christian or you're Catholic, that means that you follow the teachings of Jesus Christ. So why are you bringing up all this Exodus bullshit?
See, for me, I honestly, when someone starts bringing up the Bible, I just tune out, because guess what? I've never read the Bible. I'm not religious. It means absolutely nothing to me as a person. But do I go around killing people? Do I go around hating people? No. What I want for people is to treat each other with respect and dignity, and for us to take care of the less fortunate, take care of the people that need mental stability, take care of the people in our lives. It doesn't take a fucking book to tell you how to be a good person.
I was about to say, you don't need a book to tell you how to be a good person. And I think more importantly, no matter what your religion is, no matter what your faith is, the higher power you believe in, whatever, we also don't need, somebody to look up to and say, oh, we need to be like this person. Just be a good person. I tell people that all the time. As a Catholic, of course, there are things that I do not agree with in the Catholic agenda and all that stuff. That's a whole different conversation. But in terms of just being religious and believing in God and heaven and all that stuff, and praying that I get to see my dad again, it really just boils down to just live your life in a good way. Live your life in a way that when you're standing in front of whoever you're standing in front of when your life is over, that you can look that person in the eye and say, you know what, I did my best. I made my mistakes. I
Absolutely.
apologized. I moved on. And I really tried to be a better person every day after that. And what better can somebody ask for from you?
I was recently at my husband's grandmother's funeral last weekend, actually, and it puts it in perspective. Live your life with some kind of positive meaning, and if you're going out there being, and these people with these false crusades that they have going on, going after people, especially like you said, Murphy, that whole thing is it Oklahoma? I thought it was Utah, but Oklahoma.
No, it is Utah. Yes,
okay.
I
I was
that
pretty sure
Oklahoma didn't sound right, but yeah, you are correct.
Okay.
It is Utah. Yes.
But it's like four kids there, right?
Yeah.
And the governor's like, yeah, I know that me signing this, it's probably going to get vetoed, but this symbol of me saying, I believe that there is so much hate out there in the world that I don't need to be a part of this. And that's a good person right there.
Yeah.
Regardless of their political affiliation, that's a good person that can actually take a step back and realize, wait, this isn't some crazy conspiracy to take over women's sports. This is just children trying to feel included, feel loved, get some kind of mental stability, be a part of something. Sports have a huge. Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
It's why I try hard not to say that all Republicans are bad.
Like
they're not.
Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, Mitt Romney. You can find goodness in those. At least
do we agree
those
on
three.
Everything? Do we? I wouldn't even say we agree on a lot of things. But
you don't even have to agree on everything. It's just
politics.
The fact that there are, there needs to be some debate in politics, but. Some of the stuff that's going on in the discourse now is just absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
And going off the point of, treating others, and then treating others how you would want to be treated, and, love thy neighbor, and then, the Bible and everything like that. Here's something, not even from the Bible, it's from Gandhi. The true measure of any society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable members.
Absolutely.
So you look at how we're treating our homeless, our veterans that are either in with physical disabilities or mental disabilities, our transgender youth who are stymied, are the LGBTQ communities that is constantly ridiculed and blasphemed, the entire person of color community across the entire nation that's being murdered by the police. We're all horrible people. We are an absolute horrible and reprehensible people that.
But until we can stop talking about these things and actually getting down to the meat and potatoes of the people that are in charge and why we keep fighting over these things over and over and over. The fact that, the literal fact that I was telling Ryan that that guy even brought up the idea of interracial marriage being left up to the states. I was like, I feel like all they're trying to do is just keep taking us back in progress, taking us back. And while we are sitting here, like, as we should be shocked that somebody says something
gaslighting
like that, right?
the shit out of us constantly.
Yes, because they're sticking their hands in the honey jar and they're taking everything for themselves and they're doing things. That's the thing. While we're sitting here having these, societal debates about these things and really getting down into it and talking about how we need to be as a society, the people that don't care about society are just taking us for all we're worth. They're taking our money. They're taking our power. Democracy is hanging on by a thread, and we can see that as of now with everything going on and no accountability and everything. I just wonder when this is going to stop, or is this going to be like every 10 years, right? We just have to keep going through these cycles again. Oh, guess what? Abortion's back on this again, or oh, here we're going to start going after the trans community again, or here we're going to do this again. Oh, gay marriage, we actually think that should be taken away now. I mean, these are the things that are they're always going to be around because they will never just let people be.
But at the same time, and I'm going to throw a different hypothesis out there. I wonder if this, and other people have said this, so this isn't like an original thought for me, but I really do wonder if this isn't, the last breaths of a dying party. Like they're like, look, we know we're probably going to start losing the majorities in a lot of these state houses, and once that happens, we're fucked. And and the majority right now is so tight, in the federal seats that all it takes is a couple. All it takes is like two to shift things drastically. So I really wonder, are they just trying to get like so much crap, passed through while they still can, and this is like, this isn't a sign of their power, but it's more of a sign of, their desperation.
They're trying to get away with as much crap as they can in their dying breaths.
Yeah.
Almost, where they know they know it. They know it. The death knell has rung. It's we all know it. Everyone that looks at the Republican Party realizes that this is no longer the party of Lincoln. This is no longer a conservative party. It is a conspiracy theory party.
Yeah.
It has no grasp of reality.
It's the party of hatred. It's truly the party of hatred.
And honestly, I think the Republican Party is a lot more like Cave Johnson's Aperture Science. They're just throwing science at the wall and see what sticks. And it's just exhausting.
Well, and what they're doing, what they have done in these last 2 years into voter suppression is mind-boggling, because
bills are
and how they have gerrymandered and redistrict places for their benefit. It's for that exact reason. They know they'll never be able to win an election fairly. So they have done everything in their power to make it so that they will continue to have power, because that's the thing. Anyone that has power, what do they fear most? Losing it. And they are all clamoring. And that's why, we can harken back to even the hearings we saw of Ketanji Brown Jackson. These guys trying to get their sound bites in. Everyone's trying to be the messiah of their party, the one that I stood up and I'm there and I did this. And you know what? Even Ted Cruz's daughter doesn't even like him. Okay. Even Ted Cruz's daughter doesn't even believe in his policies and his, and yet they will say whatever they need to say to continue to get votes in the areas that they want to get votes in, because they've made it so.
I got a question. Does anybody know if Ron DeSantis has daughters or children? Does he have children? Yes, how old? Do we know how old they are? Are they in their? Okay, I would. You know what I would absolutely love? Say he actually wins re-election. All right, and this "Don't Say Gay" bill has already been pushed through, and then now everyone's just going over the top with it, and this, that, and the other thing, and then his children come out to say, "Yeah, we're gay," just out of spite. Out of spite.
He has 3 kids. It looks like they're...
Well, actually, speaking of Ron DeSantis, he actually signed a new bill in today. And
don't make fun of me, Bill.
That would be apropos.
I don't like my feelings to be hurt because I told a bunch of high school kids to take off those masks, and I want to go back to Disney World.
No, but the new bill allows parents to pretty much get rid of any book that they find insulting or whatever. I actually have a TikTok. I'm sitting on it, waiting on it to post about it. And I'm a Karen talking about Ron DeSantis giving me the power. He's just ridiculous. And
I don't like this book. It's called the far side, and it's all about cows talking to the farmers. I don't like it.
Well, I'm gonna tag you in my post later, Murph.
Okay,
this is a good transition.
It's about Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
This is a good transition to what we'll call our last talking point for the night. Okay. Because it's the party of smaller government, right? That is literally pushing the bills that is more government. It's I mean, I would argue some of them is actually government overreach.
Yeah.
But the ones I want to talk about specifically, like I told you, the two trans bills that were the two damaging trans bills that were passed in Arizona yesterday. They also passed the 15-week abortion ban, and it just, again, it's upsetting because I have a daughter, because my wife and I had that conversation when we had our daughter, whether we were going to or not. Like, I just have so many emotions when it comes to the abortion conversation. But what I was trying to tell Maggie earlier on our live on TikTok was we have a representative here who just had a kid a few weeks ago, and she brought up the point. She's like, do you guys realize that I didn't have my first doctor's appointment until I was 11 weeks along? She's like, there was so much information I did not have at 15 weeks.
Yeah.
She's like, to expect women to make these decisions at before 15 weeks. She's like, that's not reasonable. Like, it's just not reasonable. And, you know,
or any man to make any law talking about what a woman can and cannot do to her body is ridiculous. Abortion is healthcare. Period. I just can't.
And not that I disagree with that, but let's also remember there are women out there pushing this.
Yes, there are.
It's not just men out there.
I saw a TikTok from Legal Dad. If you guys aren't following him, make sure you're following Legal Dad. But there was the argument that he made against all these abortion bans is that technically banning abortion is against the 13th Amendment.
Oh, really?
Now, if you know what the 13th Amendment is, that's the amendment that ended slavery. But the way it's worded, and I brought it up so that, you know, okay, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the parties shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. So if you are banning abortion, you are forcing women to serve as broodmares for the state, which is involuntary servitude.
Broodmares. Can you say broodmares again? Argument. That's amazing.
I love that.
And so, I mean, you really want to play. Democrats really need to start playing hardball like this,
bro,
and just
tell them again. Again.
Abortion ban is against the 13th Amendment.
Not that part.
Murph, I expect a TikTok on this ASAP.
Yeah, but
seriously though, Democrats, that's a very serious point. You know, because
they need to tuck the balls out of their pants and make a goddamn stand. They can't be playing this wishy-washy. Well, I did actually make a post about this a while ago where I don't consider myself a liberal. I am a leftist. Because a liberal will be like, oh, we need to listen to everybody's feelings. We need to hear both sides of the story. And then me as a leftist, I'll say, if you rip off a Nazi's arm, he has 50% less arm to hit you with, and you have 50% more arm to beat him with.
I like that.
That's just my stance. But and so, like, we need to get like more. If you want to, consider yourself a Democrat, that's right. But you need to have balls made of solid granite to actually go up against some of these Republicans that are just well, we're rich and we can do whatever we want, and then just have some Democrat with a big stick just start whacking these guys upside the head and just saying, we're going to play hardball too now.
And you know what?
We're done with this mamby-pamby bullshit.
But you know what? I will say on a positive note, meanwhile in California, just this week, my governor, Gavin Newsom,
yes,
he loved me some Newsom daddy. Ow! He came out and made it even cheaper to get abortions and made it even more readily available for people. So there are people that are doing the exact opposite work, and I'm here for that. So we have to give homage. Like we said before, the negative gets all the press, but there are still people out there fighting the good fight, because I mean, there are people out to get him here too, but you know, there are places that are making it more accessible and cheaper for people to access health care, as I should say, not just
and with the whole abortion debate and you know, bringing it back full circle. Let's bring it back full circle. Another TikToker that I follow, Chasing Oz, she made a premonition that even if Clarence Thomas is released from the hospital, which he was, he will resign. And because of everything that's going on with the text with his wife and Mark Meadows and all that stuff, he'll resign. There's going to be another open slot. And there's still a lot of Biden time left. So he's going to nominate somebody else.
And they're not going to get 3/4 majority to impeach him. So he knows.
No, I'm saying he would only, the only way is if he resigns.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think he will. For
you know what?
reasons. Number one, because why would you resign if you know that the Senate, that you can't, there's no way they're going to get half the Republicans to go, yeah, he shouldn't be sitting on that seat.
But is there any law saying that a Supreme Court justice cannot be indicted and arrested or have charges brought against them? I know there's no written rule.
I mean, that is
aiding and abetting.
No,
I mean, I'm just all I'm saying is
not only that, but in terms of legality, who's going to testify against who? They're married.
It's true. Yeah, you really can't
testify against who. They can't prove
it. It's true.
I'm telling you right now.
Regardless, it is a clear conflict of interest of him that his wife is involved in this situation. So even the conflict of interest may be a reason for him needing to step down. I mean, that would be the only. That's the only shot, because the conflict of interest. Because
the fact that he was the only vote against releasing documents, and now that they can tie that vote to possibly these text messages, that's the only connection that I see. But even that, it's like
it's very.
Is it enough to get a half Republican senators to go, yeah, he needs to be removed?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. I mean, the answer to that is absolutely not. I mean, with this Republican brood that we have, absolutely not. Yeah, it's not going to happen.
And then on top of it, my second point was going to be his ego.
Oh, for sure.
So if you really know that the chance of you getting booted out of your position is pretty much not going to happen, then if you have an ego like his, and more importantly, like you guys just pointed out, from a strategic standpoint, why on God's green fucking earth is a conservative justice going to resign if he's not going to be forced to and give a seat to this sitting president?
The only thing I can see that we could do at this point is continue talking about this and not let this kind of just get swept under the rug
But people need to realize this stuff. Like this is what's going on. Like this dude, like if you want accountability, like we need, like Murph and you guys just said, we need to get serious as Democrats. We need to continue, keep putting the pressure on. I mean, I made a joke, not in a joke, but I saw earlier, and this really ticked us. I have to talk about the Putin canceling right now because that was pretty crazy. Putin came out saying that he is a part of cancel culture, just like J.K. Rowling.
I saw that. He said it in a press conference in the translation, and it was cancel in quotes. And from what I heard about that, nobody in Russia knows what the fuck that means, because that's strictly an American thing, cancel culture.
Well, but it's not. But it's not cancel culture; it's accountability. And I hardly had to bring it up to Putin because, if we keep putting the pressure on people and we keep their names in our mouths and we keep talking. I mean, honestly, I know you all get this same quote, especially if you ever talk about Donald Trump, right? People will be like, "It's over. Why are you lives rent free in your head?"
Yep.
You know what? he absolutely does live rent free in my head, because I'm not going to ever forget about the shit that he did. I'm not going to forget about the crimes that he committed. I'm not going to forget about Clarence Thomas's Ginny wife. I'm not going to forget about these people, because the moment we do and we let this shit slide, the worst things happen. That's why we have a responsibility to keep their names in our mouths and keep this going, right, guys?
I'm not going to shut up about Trump until he's 6 feet under.
Word.
Not going to shut up about him.
You know, you brought up something that just made me kind of connect the dot, which is, sorry, I'm trying to remember what it was now. You said that Russians don't even understand what cancel culture means. So the question then becomes, who was Putin talking to?
He was talking to us.
Talking to Americans.
Yes.
Talking to Republicans who the word cancel culture is their thing.
He's trying to get support. He's trying to get support. He's trying to get support from the right here in America, so that we will not get involved with the Ukraine-Russia thing going on right now.
Yep.
And it's not going to work.
No.
Because you're either for Ukraine, you're either going to be for a country that was just getting bombarded and their children murdered, or you're for a regime that wants to reinstall communism. What's it going to be? Are you pro-life or are you pro-communism? We're going to need an answer there, Karen.
Yep.
Like I said, we'll see where this conflict goes. You know, I personally hope that there isn't a way that we get put into a position where we have to get involved. You know, and the realities are because they've been accepted in they're either getting accepted or they have been accepted into NATO. They've been fast tracked. And then on top of it, the EU accepting them in, that now makes them everybody's ally. And that is what Russia really didn't want. So the fact that Ukraine really does have so many allies now, and pretty much every ally that Russia didn't want to see, back Ukraine, that's the part that I'm struggling with personally. Cause it's like, okay, what's your end game here, dude? Like, are you just going to keep going until like, there's just nothing left? I don't understand.
He's got such an ego and such pride that now that it's gone to this level, he can't back down, right?
I just read an article where
I wouldn't think, no.
And I mean, he's got such an ego and he wants to leave his mark. I mean, his end game is to be determined, but it's
even more questionable. It's even more questionable when you hear about, how a lot of the Russian people are just they're against it. Even I read an article that a Russian battalion killed their commander because they are against what's going on in the Ukraine. They don't. It's like, this is insane. We're not going to fight these people. So
we'd rather kill one of you than 10 of them.
Yeah,
exactly. Okay. So,
look, imagine, and I don't know if you guys remember this, but I was going in the military around this time. But you remember the Iraq War? There were a lot of people that were never in support of that. Even though on the political side, it was pretty. It was pretty bipartisan. Everybody kind of voted for it. They went to the UN. They had we had our allies that went in with us, and there were still a lot of people that stood up and were like, "This is not okay." Which, by the way, looking back, a lot of them were probably right. But now imagine Russia, that you just went into a country pretty much unprovoked. With really nothing. Like, he didn't have any good reason to go in there. Like, he couldn't even come up with a good lie, like weapons of mass destruction or something. Like, you just went into a country unprovoked. And imagine how many Russians are looking at that and going, "Nah, that's not right."
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's not just a normal war where you're like, shit, yeah, it sucks.
But that's why he's blocked every kind of news in that country. And that, I mean, but this is just an example of the manipulation that is going on. The fact that you nailed it, that who is he talking to when he's talking about being canceled, right? He's literally pandering to the Republican base, who is all about, but they have their own set of cancel culture that they approve of. But, the idea that anyone can be, you canceled me. But guess what? We're watching a war in real time right now. You can't shy away from the fact that you bombed a hospital. You can't, a maternity ward. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We see it. It's in front of our faces. And the people that don't see it are the people that choose not to see that.
Well, exactly.
And that's what he's hoping by saying something like that. Well, don't let them cancel me right now.
But it's not even just in Russia. It's everywhere. The people that are not able to look at this for what it is, which they're war crimes. Let's not mince words or anything.
Oh yeah.
Putin and Russia are committing war crimes right now.
Yes.
And the minute you bomb an ambulance, a medical team assisting people on the field, a hospital, a maternity ward, a school, an apartment complex, the minute a church, the minute you start bombing all these things, you are committing a war crime. You are not bombing war targets.
Yeah.
These are not proportional responses to war.
And Joe Biden called him a war criminal. Joe Biden,
as he should have.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. Is he going to get accountability? Again, with the politics that are in play and everything.
Let me ask you, do you think that what do you guys think the probability is of us having to get involved?
I think we're already involved.
With that one, huh?
No, it's a good one because I think we are already involved. And the fact that, and even I think in Putin's mind, we are involved as far as giving aid to Ukraine.
Yeah.
That's already there. But
troops on the ground deploying troops to Russia.
I made
or to the area, I should say.
I made a statement a while back that we were in a very toxic relationship with somebody for 4 years, and they were looking at our crazy neighbor who was threatening their significant other, and our ex was just fawning over. Look how brave he is! Oh my God, he's so. Oh. And then we break up with him because that's just absolutely disgusting behavior. And now we got this guy that's like, that neighbor, he's kind of, we got to keep an eye on him. But then our ex, who finally saw that, you remember that crazy neighbor? Yeah, he's beating his significant other. If I was still with you, that never would have happened.
Yeah.
And the fuck?
Murph, it's always the made up scenarios. That's what it's always that shit.
So that's the situation that we're in right now. We're trying to we're looking at what's going on, and we're like, yeah, that's domestic abuse. And we called the cops, we called the UN. It's like, hey, and they're like, it's kind of like we're all in that shit. Yeah. What do we do about this? When we should have just said, you know what? We don't really need those onion domes anymore. Nuke them. Whatever we need to do. Not something that drastic. That's absolutely horrendous.
But a drone strike in Moscow wouldn't be horribly uncalled for.
Dude.
But I think this is the reality, though. If you have a World War III, and that's what I think everyone's like, okay, you have.
No one wants that. Yeah.
No, because even Putin's already said, my hands are on the trigger. My nukes are hot. I'm ready to go. Yeah. He doesn't care. I think when somebody's unhinged the way that he is, and he doesn't really care. If there's no winning scenario, guess what? I'll at least go out with a legacy, man.
Well, that's the part that scares me is when
I think that's what scares everyone. I think that's the issue.
Well, when somebody starts doing something, for me personally, as the kind of thinker I am, it's like the minute somebody starts doing something that I can't see the end game to, that's when I get worried. Because I'm like, okay, that's like playing chess and you don't, and you're lost and you don't know what the next person's going to do. To me, that's like a horrible feeling. So I'm like, usually I can look at most things, especially like within politics and military shit, you can kind of look at it and go, okay, this is what they're going to do. This is the proportional response. This is what will happen next, blah, 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 blah. You know, but when you have somebody like Putin and you're just looking at this and going, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
That's when I start going, shit. Like,
Remember
because now what are we doing?
Well, I mean,
like,
I mean, you think about it. He's doing everything he can to almost encourage more war. I mean, the fact
that's absolutely what he's doing.
Well, I mean, he wants this. He wants this to happen. So,
Maggie, right there. He wants this to happen. That's the part that I'm like.
Well, I mean, you don't bomb a maternity hospital.
No.
And not understand the ramifications of doing something like that.
Yep.
Period.
You nailed it.
Period.
You guys remember a while back, maybe a couple of years ago, it was released that Putin might be stepping down because of early onset Parkinson's.
I've heard that, and I've seen people talk about his gait.
Somebody said that, you know, if you have Parkinson's, and you know, I mean, I could have done more research on this if this is an actual thing, but there is a condition called Parkinson's, not dysphoria, dementia, Parkinson's dementia, where the disease, you don't get the shakes as much, but it affects your mind more. Mm-hmm. So what if what's going on is he's just become so unhinged and paranoid and frail, and just we have to bomb and bomb and bomb because, you know, they're gonna come get me, you know, it's something that's all part of this that's going on.
It's definitely something along those lines, because at this point he is wondering why people are canceling him. So I mean, man, like there's no good scenario in any of this, because so much tragedy has already happened. But this man wants war, and he is. We can speculate all day long if he has Parkinson's, if he has dementia, if he's unhinged. Which, I mean, that's a fairly
he's definitely unhinged.
Yeah, that's a blanket statement we can say, but we don't know a lot of the ins and the outs of everything. But what we do know is this man has deliberately acted and been a war criminal, and he's doing it on purpose. So we have to look at what the actual things he's done and what is the end game on that one. He wants war with the world, and the thing is, we're not giving it to him, but we're giving it to him. You know,
and I think the thing that we need the world and Americans specifically to understand is that Putin started this fight, but we might have to end it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I hate to say that, and on that note, it's been an hour and a half, so we're going to end the show on that note. You guys are awesome. Thank you for sticking around so much.
Thank you so much for coming.
If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channels yet, please subscribe to Maggie's channel, my channel, and go to Murphy though. You go see our little ticker down here, guest Old Man Murphy. You can find him on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter.
Can follow. You go on my bio on TikTok. You can find all my socials.
But he also has a show on Saturdays, right?
Yes. The Salt Lake live stream on Saturday nights, 9 p.m. Central. We have a lot do
that on Twitch that you do that?
It's on Twitch. Yeah. I have a lot of fun. Ryan's checked it out. We have a great time. I play video games because I've done so much serious stuff during the week. I need a release, and this is my release. I also do want to do another cheap plug while I got you guys here. Dude, from April 22nd to the 24th, I'm going to be at No Brand Con, which is an anime convention in the Wisconsin Dells at the Chula Vista. So if anybody's in the Wisconsin Dells, Madison, Greater Milwaukee, hell, even Iowa, Minnesota, the UP, not Illinois, we don't want you there. Make plans. You can check out all the information at nobrandcon.org. That's nobrandcon.org. And tickets are still available for daily passes, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or full weekend passes.
That's awesome.
If I didn't live in California, I'd be there, Murph.
Oh, we're gonna have some fun. I got 2 panels, one on Friday, one on Saturday, and I'm playing game shows.
Right up
Speaking
your
of,
alley, man.
when are you gonna do another game show, bro?
Another TikTok squares.
Yeah, put me on again. That was fun. I was funny.
Blast.
I gotta get through. I gotta get through the list.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, I got this list.
He's got a waiting list like.
Oh my God! It is a mile long of all these, and I had to vet it. You know, I'm saying, okay, you know, I'm friends with a lot of these people, but I want the people in the squares to have a lot of followers so that everyone recognizes them.
Yeah.
Or so. I mean, that's where I'm like.
Thanks for having me on, Murph.
You're welcome.
Oh my God. Okay. You got
I did have a cutoff point. Anyone below was just a contestant. Everyone above was eligible to be in a square. So.
Oh, I like that. That's a fair cutoff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of that was the setup of Hollywood Squares anyway, wasn't it? You get a couple of people from the crowd or whatever, and then you have your celebrities.
Yep.
Okay. That being said, so we love you to death. Thank you for sticking around with us for the last hour and a half. Go enjoy your weekend, will you? And with that, I'll leave you as always do with much love. Keep fighting. We'll see you next Friday.
See you guys. Bye.